Unfortunately, we are starting the new year off with some horrific news. One of the first ever women's sports bars, Ladies League, has shut down after less than 5 months in business, despite having what they even described in their own words as a fantastic product.
You know, I've been beating the drum for months now that women's sports bars should be subsidized by men's sports bars. But the powers that be have come together and decided that this bar should have to operate completely based on the revenues generated by people coming there.
Luke's Sports Bar and Grill makes more than enough money to be covering the monthly lease at Ladies League as well. But because of Luke and his greed, Ladies League will have to rely solely on whether or not people want to go there, which makes me think really that, you know, pardon my French, that there's something just up in this society.
And I don't even want to hear this business about how women's only sports bars get far more press than normal sports bars, and still they are shutting down because clearly it wasn't enough press.
Not even close.
And I place that blame on the media and of course Luke from Luke's Sports Bar and Grill.
Luke, and he should be apologizing to the multiple women who won't be able to enjoy a mocktail while watching, what's her name? You know, the
black one or the white one?
The white one. Caitlin Clark.
Yes.
Clark. And honestly, there's probably more if I Googled it. Blazing down the court.
Or women's soccer has that one chick. It's, what's she got the short hair?
I don't believe I'm familiar.
You know, it doesn't even matter now, I guess, because Ladies League closed before I even got a chance to check out a game. So now I don't even have a watering hole to watch her at.
Yeah, I haven't been yet either. And I guess thanks to Luke's and other male sports bars not stepping up, I'll never have that experience. So here's hoping that 2025 moves in a better direction.
Godspeed, ladies.
And before we start, I have a quick announcement to make that when we go to Vancouver and Portland in February, Daniel Polishuk is going to be coming through.
Sir.
So we're doing 2 theaters at Just for Laughs. And then also in a couple weeks, I'm coming to Minneapolis. Do not miss that. Edmonton. We got, like I said, Vancouver, Portland, Tacoma, Los Angeles, Irvine, which are always fun. Last time we sold out a bunch of shows in Irvine. San Jose is one of the coolest venues in the world. Tampa Bay, Salt Lake City, Denver, Atlanta, Baltimore, San Diego. All those tickets are at ryanlongcomedy.com.
Yes, sir. And I'll be in Vancouver and Edmonton in April and mid-April and May.
Woo!
Woo!
The boys.
It's the Boyscast.
The lads.
It's the Boyscast.
The dudes.
Prepare yourself for Boyscast.
The bros.
It's the Boyscast.
The homies.
It's the Boyscast.
The dudes.
Experience the Boyscast.
The boys. Cast.
And Happy New Year, everybody. I don't think that's the New Year's song.
I think it's more like Old Lang song.
I don't remember it. There we go. Fellas.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Getting off to a crazy start. New York, a guy got pushed in front of the subway, lived, which I still don't understand.
Yeah.
Honest to God, because that's the first thing, and they're just like, the guy's in critical condition. You're like, how do you get pushed in front of a subway and then not die? I thought it was a lock that if you jump in front of the subway,
I think sometimes if you're lucky and you get stuck on the, like if you go in between the track, like, and you can kind of.
But is that what happened? The guy pushed him and then he goes,
either that or it looked like the train was coming to a stop and he like pushed him in front of a stopping train. If you get pushed in front of a full speed train, that's it for you.
I don't. It seems like the train's going pretty fast, though.
Yeah,
that happened. Cybertruck just exploded in Trump's manor.
Yeah, right in front of Trump Towers in Vegas or the Trump Hotel in Vegas.
I've seen a couple Cybertrucks cooking around New York lately.
Yeah, they're cool.
Definitely a little like. It's kind of a cool car, I guess. It is also like ridiculous, though.
Oh yeah.
Like whenever I see a guy with a Cybertruck, like it's like kind of like a ridiculous human.
It's a bit much, but if I ever needed to haul anything,
yeah, sure,
I'd be a Cybertruck.
And then there was the Bourbon Street in New Orleans. Like it's right.
I mean, there was 2 terrorist attacks literally within 8 hours.
Buddy, the terrorists have been going back to back.
Yeah, I mean the Vegas one is so weird because the guy is like in the military. In the U.S. military.
Yeah, there was a lot of mixed signals for that one. It felt like there was a little something for everybody.
Well, that one's
they're like, all right, he's Muslim, and they go, but he's American.
Well, no, he's the one guy's Muslim, but is American. Then the Vegas guy is like he worked for the Department of Defense or something. And then just right now, they said because they were like he basically killed himself right before the bomb went off. And you're like, this guy's supposed to be like a special services, like military guy, but then you picked probably the worst car to ignite a bomb in because it's all steel. So it's like the damage was minimal because it's all like,
there's the Cybertruck.
The Cybertruck's like reinforced steel or whatever. And then
this guy really wanted to do his bombing in style.
Yeah, but then they're like, his body was like burned to a crisp, but then they just found his ID like 9/11 style, like perfectly preserved.
You're saying there's some funny business going on with this one.
There's some malarkey.
There's a lot of malarkey,
leave the malarkey in 2024, that's for sure.
Dude, it really does feel like with these ones too, they really don't want you to be able to put it in a box, you know? Like usually you could be like, okay, simple, this is this one, disgruntled youth. And the other one is you go, Muslim guy, death to America, and then this one it was like, oh, it's a Muslim death to America guy. You're like, what?
No, he actually quite loved America.
Actually, a black guy loved America.
Yeah.
Go, what's going on here?
No, I know. I mean, at least the guy had an ISIS.
The simulation's friggin' broken.
Yeah. At least one guy in New Orleans had an ISIS flag. So you go, that's something.
I feel like there's been a few.
Up.
I feel like there's been a few different simulation things that have been hitting me up lately.
Yeah.
Where here's a perfect one. We went to a concert. Maybe I'll mention it later. But I was at a place, and then I've been walking around for a good hour, and then a guy came up and he was like, I'm a fan or whatever. And I was like, I guess I never haven't talked to anyone since I've been here. No one's met. And then as soon as I thought that, two other people came up to me back to back. It was kind of like the universe was like, you're right. That would be, we're not giving them the right amount. I've had like 3 things in a row where I go, I'm sure you've had this, but it's one thing when you're talking to someone and then they pop up on your phone where you go, I haven't talked to this guy in a while. And then all of a sudden you see all of his Instagram stuff and you're just like, well, I don't know how that happened. But I had one where I thought of someone. I'm like, I haven't fucking seen that guy in forever. And then all of a sudden my my Instagram was like 4 of his videos.
Really? Dude, I've had that even crazier than that. This is like a thing that's happened all throughout my life almost, where I've been like,
I'm hungry. Oh, there's a McDonald's.
Hey, what are the odds? 1 billion served, you say? No, dude, I've had it many times in my life, or the point where it's become like a reoccurring thing, where I've just been somewhere and I'm like, I remember the last time I was at a gym and I was, this was in Canada, and I was like, I wonder what happened to that guy. Just like some random guy I knew at Guelph in college.
Yeah, shit like that.
I go I wonder what that guy's up to. And then he was at the gym.
Well, you said that?
Yeah, I literally saw him. I go, I wonder what that guy was like for whatever reason. I guess there could be something where I did
subconsciously
saw him, didn't process it, and then some sort of deja vu.
Well, there's no answer to why I'm showing up on a phone, a guy that I thought of.
Yeah, I know. That's weird.
So it does feel a little bit like, I guess the argument is that this is all sort of a simulation.
Sure.
Because but it does feel a little bit like it happens to me more now. And I guess there's more variables now where there's no way that I would have potential. Usually when someone's out of your life, they're out of your life, whereas now they can keep them back in.
Right.
It does feel like the main characters. It's like watching a show and you're like, why did they, how when you're watching a television show or a movie, nothing ever happens for no reason.
Right.
From a script writing perspective.
That's like one of the rules is if it doesn't do anything, then you got to remove it.
If you have a guy that you walk on and you walk by like a hot dog vendor and you have an interaction with him for no reason and you go, what was the purpose of that? And you go, what is that service? And you go, just delete it.
Yeah, just delete it.
Well, I have, it feels like sometimes in my life, it's a lot of those where those all come back now. They don't let you have just a random interaction. It's always in there, part of now this guy's part of your matrix. I'll tell you,
I can't escape the matrix.
I went back to Toronto. I'll tell you one thing, and then we'll move on to real stuff.
Yeah.
But when I was back home, I always tell everyone don't get me any gifts because I just basically bring one little suitcase, right?
Yeah.
And it's like full. So anyone gives me stuff, and even my mom, she always bakes. They love to bake you like a tin of cookies or something.
Sure.
And legitimately, I have to, for the 5th time, fear in a row, I go thank you, and then I put it in the garbage on the way out. It's like I can't. I don't have room for a huge tin of. And I'm not walking around with this tin of cookies for the next 5 days to try to preserve.
Check a tin of cookies.
Right, so there's things like that. But then the one thing I was able to take, it also got confiscated immediately at the thing. So I got a couple. But the thing she got me, my mom, she gave me, this is probably the type of stuff we would do sponsor for it. It's not even the worst product, so I'm not trashing them if they're out there. But it was You know, I think you started doing like facial cleanse or like men's face like treatments. What is it called?
Treatments.
Didn't you start doing like creams under your eyes or something?
Oh yeah. The wife forces me to do
Right.
that.
So it was basically like face cream for men.
Yeah.
And it said Viking face cream.
of course.
And I was fucking dying the idea of like trying to market to men being like, put on makeup like a Viking.
Yeah, Viking. Yeah.
You just applying your nightly face routines. Oh!
Yeah, that's what Vikings do as they're about to go rape and pillage. They go, I'm looking a little tired right now. Let me
Just doing some Viking shit.
Oh, make sure to use this finger. You don't want to use these fingers. It's.
Are you putting
bad for
makeup
the
on? I'm doing I'm doing my Viking stuff.
Yeah.
The funniest
I do like
business.
those stupid things though that my wife she keeps in the fridge, like the little eye things that they're like these plastic or whatever, and then you like put them under your eyes. It's
I've
almost
never
like,
done
it's like-
those.
it's like the cucumber almost on the eye, but it's like these like plastic strips.
You're like souped
Feels
up, eh? You're
solid.
doing the whole thing.
I mean, I don't like buy any of this shit. It's just like my house is full of it.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good when they. Viking face cream.
Yeah, dude, I literally like she bought me like some beard wash 2 years ago, and it just sits in the shower.
Yeah.
And never touch it.
Beard wash, you don't need to manly it up, but these
Dude, I
ones.
use Dr. Bronner soap for everything. I have one soap. I literally wipe the floors, do the counters, everything.
Viking foundation and eyeliner. Oh, that's me. I'm a Viking.
I'm a Viking.
And I guess it does work. But anyways, the Viking cream didn't even make it back to America because the guy at the airport said, "It's my Viking cream now." He goes, "I didn't know you were a Viking, but listen, I can't let you take it. The Viking cream's mine now."
Yeah. There was a thing that happened 20 years ago. You can bring Viking cream on the flight.
We've had problems with Viking cream in the past because the thing is, when Vikings get on the plane, they get up to no good, right?
Yeah. They trash that shit.
Okay, so probably the big thing that happened in the last week that I'm sure me and Danny have both been paying a lot of attention to, and the news is having a field day right now, is the tech bros versus Elon Musk.
Yeah, there's
The tech bros versus the Maga.
a bit of a civil
Maga.
war.
It is a civil war.
A little bit, yeah. People aren't happy about the H-1Bs.
And they're having a problem. But the thing is, if you actually look at it, you go, they formed a coalition. You worked with Maga had to work with Elon Musk and the tech bros to get Trump in. You got Trump in. It's like, so you have to be Indian now.
Yeah.
Big deal. Yes, you're getting paid in rupees now.
Who doesn't want a fucking 7-day wedding?
You got the president you want in. He's going to build the wall. You got to be Indian now. I don't know what to tell you.
It is what it is. They have better hats.
You know what they say when you start your first day and they go, first day of Maga, they go, look to your left, look to your right. 3 of you are going to be Indian.
Whether you like it or not.
All 3 of you are going to be Indian.
Learn how to say Happy Diwali, because that's what we're doing now.
It's a countdown to when you're going to have to start reading Shah Rukh Khan quotes. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah.
That's the first day as they tell you, okay, obviously I know some of you may like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Some of you may think The Rock is cool. We all like Shah Rukh Khan now. That is.
I mean, everybody who's watching this from Canada is Indian now, so they know what's up.
Yes. Well, this is kind of what was making me laugh. One of the points was when they were, because there is a lot of talk about and we'll probably get into more actual opinions, but when they're referencing the HB1 visas, which is like basically 500,000 people.
It's 85,000.
85,000. I thought it was a little higher.
No, they say they say it's 85,000 and it's like capped per country. Like every country has like their own cap on it, I think. By country, because that was like the thing all started with that guy. His name's like Serum or something. Like that tech guy, and then he's like, they need to remove the cap from India because we need more Indians, and Indians get capped. But then there's like
that guy's fiending for Indians.
Yeah, but then there's countries where
fixed.
but there's countries where like they don't even hit the cap because they don't have enough people who are like they can hire. And then everybody was like, why are you hiring people for jobs that Americans can do? And then Vivek was like, you guys are lazy retards who like stop doing sleepovers and do more math problems and stuff. You lazy Americans.
Vivek was like legitimately, because he was, I think he was valedictorian if you ever doing his speech.
Yeah.
He's like your classic like teacher you forgot to give us homework. But his true I think that he was able to sort of mask that and be like, I'm fighting for you.
He's even worse than the teacher who forgot homework. They go, yeah, the teacher's sick today. We got a free day. He goes, no. I'll teach the class. Everybody have a seat.
No.
He goes, I'm like 3 weeks ahead, so I'll just teach everybody in your seats. And everybody's like, what are you doing?
And Vivek's coming in he's waving his finger in your face. You know what I mean? You go, no.
No.
Yeah, Vivek was basically say any kid who's not 100% of the time getting whipped because he's not studying piano and
and like doing fucking computer programming and stuff when you're 4.
Yeah, and you go
lazy.
You know, there is always that the thing that goes back, like it's sort of the difference between liberals and conservatives sometimes, but some of those cultures are overly conservative in this is how you have to live life.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we've had a million teachers or people in comedy over years. They've kind of been like, you know, I was trying to be a comedian, and it's like my parents just having a nightmare.
Which is generally,
if you tell an Indian parent you want to
child of immigrants is generally
child of immigrants, but it depends. Obviously, it depends a little different on the immigrant. If you tell your Indian parents that you want to be a comedian, generally their head fucking explodes.
Yeah.
They go, no,
yeah. They're
no!
like, yeah. I mean, you can do that on the
by
side,
God, Allah,
in between your doctor and engineering profession.
You can tell a joke.
Yeah, sure. I like jokes.
This is what happens. If you finish your piano, if you finish your math, you finish your Kumon, you get to do one joke.
We'll get you we'll get you a comedy tutor once a month.
Yeah, you get to do one joke a month.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of, and this is kind of, I was thinking about this a little bit, even talking to certain Canadian people, where there is, I've kind of had this point, but I think it was like the crystallization of one of the reasons why people, and this isn't just a conservative liberal, but one of the reasons why a lot of times other cultures are better at like becoming CEOs than actually founders sometimes is because in order to do something crazy, you have to make 40 irrational choices.
Yeah, you got to be a risk taker.
To be a famous, risk taker is good way to describe it, but sometimes you have to do a choices that have very low probabilities, which by any normal scenario is irrational, right?
Right.
So you go, most people that did something that like changed the world, you go 75 times they did something where a parent would be like, why are you doing that?
Yeah, you have to fail a lot too, right? Whereas like if you're in this like, you know, culture that doesn't reward failure, and they're like every time a failure, you're like, oh, that's like a specifically negative thing.
Yeah, why are you screwing up?
Like, I got to fuck up a few times to
do something crazy.
Do something crazy, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so that was, but probably the point I was trying to make was that if you look at the conversation where we're talking about like these Silicon Valley and like white people in America are getting replaced by Indians potentially. It's really Indians being replaced by other Indians.
Sure.
Because you go, if you do those jobs, you go, what Americans do you think doing those jobs? You go and you're like, hey, you're replaced by an Indian. You go, you're taking an American's job. You're like, yeah, another Indian though.
Right. Yeah.
Like it's Indian American. It's kind of Indian on India. It's kind of India from India.
I mean, there were lots of jobs. Like you would see people started going and through the H-1B, like, because you can see who applied for stuff, and there would be like jobs which is like project manager. But the problem is Elon Musk.
Well, they know how to scam the HB1s.
But they're all just like, well, we want a guy who works 80 hours a week happily and is essentially like an indentured slave because
that's what we want.
H-1Bs are tied to the job.
You can't go anywhere.
You can't go anywhere else. So essentially, like if you leave that job,
it's a no fault divorce. It's a fault divorce.
Yeah, you just like have to go back to your country or whatever. So then
it is a pretty good scam for the companies. You're like, hey, I'll give you this job. You're way underpaid. You got to work really hard. And if it doesn't work out, bye.
Right. And again, it's like, you know, I'm sure there are jobs specifically where they're like, yeah, we can't find enough of this specific thing. But like anything, you're like, yeah, it's going to get gamed and abused. Like,
and it does get gamed and abused. It never doesn't get gamed and abused.
That's the thing. It was like, it was such an easy thing for them to walk back because all they needed to say for all the people mad were like, yes, it's like, we need this. Yes, it's also getting abused. Like, we'll work on fixing the abuse, but we want to keep the program because the program is good. But like, yes, we'll concede that it is getting abused.
Also, if the truth is, if you actually were, you could also, if you were these people, you could have probably just said nothing and get your little project through. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you're kind of like, hey, we're doing all this stuff, you go, what about HBO? And like, just sort of ignore that. They probably could have pushed through their little increase in 6 months without anyone noticing.
Trump, yeah, exactly. More importantly, Trump was just like, I like H-1B visas.
I saw him come out with that. Yeah,
multiple times. He goes, they're great system. That's
Trump's no stranger to he's. But it is funny, he says he has a lot of people at Mar-a-Lago, and a lot of the jobs.
Again, you're like, what high-skilled people at Mar-a-Lago? What, the grounds people? You can't find like fucking people who like
This is the thing. They kind of pitch it as like, this is the people that are going to change the world, and then you're just like, you go, like, for what? What exactly? And you're like, a couple junior marketers that we got, like basically our groundskeeper. Like, there's no American that can do this.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to know, like, Exactly how, because pretty much everybody who drives like an Uber or delivery person in this city, and I'm sure all over, they're like, how did they get here?
There's also
I know there's like obviously normal
refugee stuff. You know the scam in Canada? This is, I think, why sometimes it pisses people off too, because you look at every other country, they go, no, this is what we need. And they look at every other country, you go, fine. It seems like it's it being abused everywhere.
Of course.
And then they're like, well, no, but this time it won't, I guess is
Right.
what people think.
Yeah.
I mean, we came in here not on HB1s. But
No. H1Bs or whatever for like tech companies mostly.
Yeah.
Right. But I always wonder with like the people who are here, you're like, you're not getting an H1B to deliver Uber Eats. Like I know there's lotteries and stuff like that.
Did you know the Canadian scam?
With the colleges?
No, well, the colleges for sure. Basically, which the colleges is incredible because it's literally free money for colleges. Because what they did was they basically started out where it's kind of the thing Trump said, where they go, hey, anyone who finishes university here, you get a 3-year visa, right?
Yeah, like a permanent residence.
So basically, what's a green card to America worth? You go, okay, let's say that, or a visa for 3 years. You go, what it would be worth on the black market if you just had a market for them and you could just buy them off the street, like 70, 80 grand. So
Sure.
you go, so you basically go to you go, hey, if you can offer someone a college degree, we add 70 grand of value to it, right?
Absolutely.
So basically, all these colleges start opening up in strip malls, being like, oh yeah, we're selling, a degree in
Whatever.
dick sucking,
anything. It's cosmetology or whatever.
Roti wrapping.
Yeah. And, dude, you know the amount of people in Canada who like had a student visa but like weren't actually going to school? Like they even got the visa and they were like weren't enrolled though. They just like got the letter saying they were going and then came in.
Now you're here. And then now if you get married, have a kid here, whatever you do.
Yeah.
Well, they also had a thing where essentially that if you go to America from India, for example, or a lot of places, you need to get a visa, like because they don't have a trust that you're going to leave. So certain places you can't just go on vacation, right?
Yeah,
certain countries you have to. Yeah, I mean, I had to get a visa when I went different places,
Yeah,
and then
of course.
So apparently Trudeau kind of got rid of that. So then everyone just came. And then once you come, you basically are, once you just get here, then you say, I'm a refugee. And then that takes 5 years to process. So basically you just get here, say I'm a refugee, and now you got 5 years.
Yeah, you have an asylum claim.
Yeah, and some of these are different.
That's what everybody's
here and
doing
there,
with the
but-
southern border here is they make refugee claims and then like asylum claims.
And it
then
takes so long
It takes
to
like
deal with.
7 years to see a fucking judge or whatever. So you're like, and you have a work permit in the meantime.
Don't you think they should? Probably the best way to do it would be, when you go to a nightclub and it's kind of like
Hot people only.
ladies are in free.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not hot people, it's hot chicks,
Hot
right?
chicks, yeah.
And basically, if you're a dude, you need to bring like 4 other hot chicks, kind of thing.
Good luck.
Or you have real money, right?
Right, yeah.
And that's sort of how immigration should work. Like, you either show up and you're like, I'm already successful. I've got money. I'm gonna come probably pay way more taxes than.
Yeah.
Or
a net benefit.
Or I'm showing up with some fucking dime pieces.
Yeah, that's
boys.
fine. Boys.
Not here. Not like I'm a boy. You go. How many are you guys? 7 dudes. You go. yeah. There's a sports bar down the road, pal.
Yeah. Not the
And you go.
worst.
Oh, I'm showing up with 9 models. I'm in. Oh, I'm showing up. I plan to drop $100 grand on bottles. You like right this way,
Yeah,
sir?
absolutely. Come on in, sir.
Welcome.
Yeah. And I mean, I think they have stuff like that where if you have a bunch of money, you can come here on like a business.
That's it. Like at a club, I'll tell you what you wouldn't have. You go, we need to import more men from other countries because there's no guys here to fuck the girls. You go,
No. Whose idea was this?
No, you go, I'm
Vivek?
Hey, we need to go to the 3 cities over and bring in some dudes because there's a lot of girls here that too many bitches that aren't getting fucked. You go, I promise you we can find men to fill the spot.
Yeah, but it seems like they're already off the H-1B.
Yeah, I know.
Trump kind of said this is how it is.
I think it's going to flare up again.
Well, they're now on rape gangs.
Oh,
Muslim rape
sure.
gangs from
That's
the UK.
definitely a topic.
Literally like a 15-year-old story that somehow is now the main story.
Really?
Something came out.
Oh,
about
I know
it.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, like the grooming gangs or whatever, because like some thing came out, and then now they're just like that's the thing, Tommy Robinson or whatever. So now that's the new cause.
Yeah, it's always switching up, obviously, but I do feel like this one sticks a little more because first of all, it is the ideological rift between the coalition, which is funny that there was kind of like a big fight before he's even in yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Couldn't even last that long. But 2, the news is loving this, buddy.
Absolutely. Yeah, well,
They're beside
It is
themselves
weird
right now.
though. I do think it is strange now because like you'll turn on CNN and CNN's like people are mad at each other on Twitter, and you're like, so this is the news now? Is like you guys are just like, here's some Twitter beefs, right?
For
but
sure.
Like, that's like how it filters up. Like it's literally.
But also, it's not just Twitter beefs when it's Elon Musk at that point.
Well, it's Elon Musk, but they're also using it to kind of like drive a wedge between the opposing party to CNN, essentially being like, we're gonna blow this up.
I was looking at articles. The mega honeymoon is over. Why did Trump change his mind on this? Like they're almost like poking.
Yeah.
And then they go, visas dividing mega. There was probably like 100 of them. So the news is watching this being like, oh boys, we are cooking right now.
Yeah, we got a little beef.
Trouble in paradise.
TMZ. TMZ for politics.
I agree with you that the funniest was Vivek's tweet being like, the problem of this not working 80 hours a week.
Yeah, you're all lazy. You're all fat, lazy losers. Go easy, man.
This is the other thing when we were talking about the visas. It was making me laugh, the idea of this is simultaneously happening with Trump saying he wants to take over Canada, right?
Uh-huh.
And it was like, you want to really piss people off. It's like, hey, we're taking over Canada. You want to really bring in some Indians? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, you could bring in like.
That's why I said you're going from, hey, I'm not going to bring in any immigrants to like opening the borders EU style.
Well, the thing is those people wouldn't be eligible because it would only be Canadian citizens. But because I've been talking like, people with the whole.
So you wouldn't have an American citizenship?
Well, with the taking over Canada thing, because everybody's, he keeps joking about taking over Canada, and now Kevin O'Leary is trying to go broker a deal.
I seen Kevin, Mr. Wonderful's getting in there.
Mr. Wonderful's getting in there, yeah, trying to broker a deal because he thinks this is the greatest thing.
On behalf of who? He's not.
Well, he's Canadian.
He's not part of the government. He's
No,
just a
no,
guy.
well, exactly.
That's like me showing up to Mar-a-Lago being like, I'm here to work out the trade arrangement.
It's like you're just the guy from Shark Tank.
You're just a guy.
Yeah. But anyways, he seems to. I'm sure he knows lots of people in Canadian politics.
Then what?
That aside,
Kevin O'Leary, then he goes to Ottawa and he goes, hey guys, I
yeah.
talked to Trump and I got his terms. You go, get the fuck off our
But
property.
everybody thinks that in order for the U.S. to take over Canada, it would be like a boots on the ground invasion thing, which would not work because the world would turn against you. But all Trump's got to do is say, hey, like, if you're a Canadian, we'll give anybody who wants to move to the United States, we'll give you American citizenship and we'll convert your dollars 1-to-1. Right, which is instantly that's like a
lot of giving you a lot of free money. Yeah,
a lot of free money, lower taxes. Immediately, if he did that, I'm sure 10 million citizens would move. Probably something like
I don't know if that high, but yes, a lot.
Millions, millions enough to the point where it would cause so much chaos in Canada, like with that amount of just people leaving, that then they would be forced to broker some kind of deal because it would just cause it would turn the economy upside down and they would just have to make some kind of deal.
Just saying, my point to you was it would going from like, hey, we're going to have no immigration to we're going to have a plenty of immigration and most of them don't speak English.
Well, the thing is, I think most of them will. Like if
anyone that immigrated to Canada and is a citizen now, which is plenty, is going to be like, well, obviously we
there's probably like 10 million non-citizens in Canada right now who are like,
so they can't come. Dude, so that's all that would be left.
That's what I'm saying. And then people would be like, man, this is really shitty now. You thought it was shitty before. Let's fucking make a deal here. And they'll just, this sucks.
Maybe they will call Mr. Wonderful up.
Dude, they're saying like with their new visa thing in Canada, they're like, we have 5 million people whose visas are going to expire by the end of, I believe, this year that are going to have to go back. And you're like, yeah, good luck with that. Just 5 million people, they're not all just going to willfully leave.
No one's going anywhere.
And you're not going to find them. Like, how are you going to go? What, you're going to start out some crazy like program where you're snatching people off the street just to physically send the logistics of sending 5 million people out? Like, it costs a fortune. It would take forever.
Yeah, you need more planes, pal.
A lot more planes.
Slingshots.
You need those Calcutta trains, man.
But yeah,
people draped on the outside.
It was interesting to watch. Sort of Elon Musk take the mask off too, where he was like, "Oh, fuck, you don't want to see me."
Yeah. Oh yeah. This is like his hill he's dying on.
But it's funny because he sort of presents himself as like fun meme guy.
Yeah.
Whereas like even like the Sam Altman and stuff like that, a lot of those guys are coming out being like, no, he's like the biggest bully, and you're like he ruins people because they looked at him the wrong way, kind of thing. Which you would imagine, but he's always like, I'm the kick guy, like memes and stuff, and he was just like. And then you're just like, well, we want all these immigrants or whatever. And then people are like, no. And he's like, come over here for a second. He's like, this is not something I'm asking you.
I'm not
I will
asking you.
fucking like.
He goes, I spent $200 million getting Trump elected. This is what we're doing now.
Yeah, you forget that some of these type of people, you're just like, you didn't get to be there by not slashing a few throats on the way, right?
Yeah.
This guy is, you open up in one of his Cybertruck closets, he's got scalps of his enemies.
Look, if you are upset with Elon, I'm telling you, start enjoying cricket, because that's going to be the new national sport soon.
Exactly.
Get into cricket now. Learn the rules.
Just learn. It's
kind of like baseball. You like it. If you like baseball, you'll be fine with cricket.
You're Indian now. I don't know what to tell you. Prizepicks is the best place to get real money sports action with over 10 million members, billions of dollars in awarded winnings. Prizepicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long with Prizepicks.
Prizepicks is so easy to use, and it's super fun and quick. It takes 30, 60 seconds to put your picks. You just pick more or less. This week, my picks, I have Jared Goff for more than 230 passing yards. As well, I have Malik Neighbors for more than 67.5 receiving yards. I also have Travis Kelce for more than 70 receiving yards, and Lamar Jackson for more than 250 passing yards.
Also, you can now win up to 1,000 times your money on Prizepicks. It is the best way to get action in sports. There's in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, Georgia, Florida. Prizepicks now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account. Prizepicks puts their members first, so all the withdrawals are fast, safe, secure. When my picks hit, I know that I get my money in as quick as 15 minutes. So you download the app today, use the code Boyscast, get $50 after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, that is download the app, use the code Boyscast, $50 instantly after you play your first lineup. So Prizepicks, run your game. Fitbod is the best way for you to get in shape now that it is the new year. You've already made the resolution. It's time to do it without wasting your money on a personal trainer. Fitbod is an app. It is easy to download. It's like having a personal trainer in your pocket. You know, whether that's keeping your workouts interesting, whether that's keeping track of what you've been doing, whether you're going to different gyms and you don't, you want to type in the equipment, you're traveling a bit, or you just moved, or you're trying a new gym for the new year because you're
track of which muscles are ready to train again, which ones are too sore to do.
Well, how many people probably stopped working out 6 months ago and they're getting back in the game right now in a new gym, right? They just signed up for a new one. You want to type all that information out there. You don't need to waste your money on a personal trainer. And also, you get your chick on there and then she's not out there with some jack dude.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Or she will be out here with some jack dude once you download Fitbod.
Exactly. It'll be you. Yeah, you.
You're gonna be that.
You're going to be the jack dude. Fitbod creates a personal workout routine based on your goals, fitness levels, available equipment. Workouts adapt to your growth, so each workout is challenging enough to push you to make progress, fine-tuned by experienced, certified personal trainers to bring best practices and exercise science to you. So it's the new year. Time to get in shape. Level up your workout. Join Fitbod today. Get your personalized workout plan and get 25% off your subscription, or try the app free for 7 days with fitbod.me/boyscast. That is fitbod.me/boyscast.
Get the little metal bracelets.
There's also the biggest, there is a difference. I think a lot of people don't realize. I grew up in super Indian place, but again, mostly all second generation. So these guys are Pickering guys, Toronto guys. Like second generation people are very different than like 25-year-old that just moved here, right?
Of course.
To be honest, anyone who speaks any language that's different, that isn't English, that's a second generation immigrant, bothers me. Except for Raheel. I like Raheel.
Yeah. Right.
But for the most part, and then their kids, I feel will.
I mean, all the second generation.
Anyone comes here,
anybody I know in Canada, like they were all.
You come in here 25 and you speak Russian. This guy's gonna be on my nerves,
right? Sure. Learn the language.
No, it's just like, because there's no way that guy's already a fully formed human. You know what I mean? And you're gonna have these different stuff, and then on top of that, communicating's hard. It's just like, it was not going to be my preference to talk to a guy that we don't speak that good of English together.
Sure.
Maybe
it'll be two people who barely speak English trying to talk to each other.
You know what I'm saying, man? Where then their kids are, but then there is a big, and you know me, know I'm fucking been about the Indian. I've been about the Indian chicks, man. That's what I'm saying.
Flavor.
It has been my favorite flavor historically. I told you my ex-girlfriend's dad or grandfather was vice president of India.
Oh yeah, there you go.
But with if the kids become second generation, which is different, and then on top of that, I feel like a lot of people don't realize the difference between the types of Indians. Like there is a huge fucking difference between like poor Muslim Indian versus like rich Brahmin, you know, like their caste and stuff.
Yeah, the
They're
Patels.
Dude, it's as different as like the type of guy you're taking. It's as different as like, hey, we're in the UK and we took a bunch of people from the tech industry in Toronto versus like we imported an entire city from a trailer. We imported the entire trailer park from Trailer Park Boys.
Right. Yeah.
Like that's how different the two are.
For sure. And generally the ones coming, I think, are generally higher caste when they come from.
Well, it used to be that.
Yeah.
That's the point. It used to be that. And that's why there's so many different types. Like
There's probably more people in the upper caste in India than there are in all of Canada, like by a lot.
Yeah, and those people are so fucking different
for sure.
than like, you know, the equivalent of trailer park people.
You think Canada's going to have a caste system soon? Like
Yeah,
the
I mean...
The whites are going to be the untouchables?
Yeah, you're going to be in a cast.
Yeah, keep up that bullshit. You're
those-
going to be fucking walking around in full body cast.
And there's all the Cybertruck tracks keep coming. You're going to be walking around full on, slinging everything. So...
Yeah.
I have had but the other point I was making was, I think a lot of these things, in my opinion, I think I understand ideologically why people get hyped up when things become fork in the roads. Kind of reminds me a little bit of when people always talk about the trans issue where they say, "Oh, why does this matter so much to you?" You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
that was a big one.
Yeah, which is also like you should be like, you know, I don't think people should have sex with kids, and you go, what kids do have so much? Why do you care about?
Yeah, you don't even have kids.
Yeah. I was like, because ideologically, it seems like a fork in the road of two different ways. But I get why people get so hyped up about these arguments because it feels like a fork in the road of which way are we going? You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And they are somewhat different results.
But what I do agree with you on is that overall, it does feel to me like it's probably like a pretty small problem on aggregate.
Yeah.
And then on top,
it's only 85,000 people. It's, 350 million.
Yeah, and I do agree with that point where
it's like you have millions pouring over the southern border a year. It's like this is
you probably do want the best of the best. The truth is what you don't want is like a complete gaming on that system for cheap labor, I guess.
And like people making money and driving down wages, which I'm sure it does do. Yeah.
Of course it does.
I'm sure like the thing is the people who are against this are just like, there's probably 40,000 born Americans who probably could do those jobs and are kind of getting fucked over. And then people are like, well, that's not that many. It's just 40,000. You're like, yeah, that's 40,000 people. Like those are 40,000 people whose like lives are being affected by this. And, they should have some benefit from being born in America. It's their country. You're just like, oh, it's not that many people. You're like, it is 40,000 people. It's a small town.
But so I agree with that point. But what's probably more than that, where I was saying, like, if you actually look at things that probably affect people more, one of the big ones is you go, really, if people go, a lot of times the conversation is about remote work where you go, think about how many companies you go, hey, you can't hire any more Indians and give them visas. And you go, okay, we'll hire them and they work in India.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure there's certain guys where you're just like, hey, you're the head engineer at, Google. It's like, you probably have to be in San Francisco, but there's probably so many jobs where they're like, we don't really have to bring him here.
Yeah, and that doesn't even factor in AI. Like, hey, this is just like almost all a distraction until
that's what I'm saying.
AI is just like you go, yeah, we're not bringing in any visas anymore because these jobs don't exist.
Listen,
and your job doesn't exist either.
You're Indian, your wife's a computer. I don't know what to tell you here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get with the program.
Yeah.
But do you know what I'm saying? Where if they were really, I feel like if you really wanted to pick a thing where you go, hey, I'm kind of like American, pro-America and American worker kind of guy. I feel like the issue to pick would be like, hey, if you're a company over, 50 employees, you can't have more than 10% remote workers.
Sure.
Like you can't just be like, hey.
Well, you can't make people you can't.
I find the remote workers a little lazy. Not all of them.
I mean,
depends
it
on
really
where they're
is.
from.
You're like, it's hard to manage them when they're just over Zoom.
When they're always trying to, that when like people are like overemployed.
Yeah.
The people that like work three things. Mm-hmm. I find that like the guys you hire from Indian places like that, Like we have a guy from Finland and he's awesome.
Yeah.
But we have a guy, I've hired a few people from like India and places like that. And I always find they're like running a scam on you. They always like, they'll be like, do a lot of work. And then very quickly, they try to hire other people to do it for them.
Yeah,
and they always try to turn their job into like a company where they run a bunch of other people doing the scam.
They basically like found 5 of you and then they go, now I can just hire someone to do that.
They go get jobs, do it for 2 weeks. And then they find
managers.
some other guy to do it for half the price.
Yeah.
Before you know it, I find that they're always like, they're always like scamming you a little bit.
Yeah.
And then
it's hard to find. That's a thing though. But you're doing the thing where you're like, I don't want to pay American wages. So then, right? You're like, I don't want to pay a guy in New York City who charges fucking $100 an hour.
I'm not arguing that I'm not part of the problem.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, you're like,
I pay. You know how much taxes I pay in this fucking country? You want to pick a guy? You got the wrong one. No. But of course.
No,
right.
I mean I've done it too.
But that's why I said companies over 50 people.
Right. Yeah.
Why do you think I said companies over 50 people?
There's definitely negatives to doing that because you're like, if you have a product and you're going, I'm going to do crazy cost savings. You're like, well, your product's going to be worse too.
It doesn't work as good as you think.
No, definitely not.
But some people have figured out ways that they are doing it, and I'll put that on sleep. Some people have figured out ways that they are doing it, and definitely that would be a bigger problem if you take a company and you go, I mean, how many times do you call a place in the call centers in fucking India? The call centers here, this and that, and this and that, right? So many different things. Like, you know where those jobs used to be? It used to be a guy in fucking Iowa or something, right?
Of course. Apparently, they have like new voice cloning technology.
So if I was going to be mad at something, it would be that. Is my point.
But apparently, they have like crazy voice cloning technology, like AI voice cloning stuff now, where like you can call a call center in like India or something, but it sounds like you're talking to a guy in America because it like modulates their voice to remove the accent. Yeah.
Just a guy being like, well, how's it doing, Mr. Danny? You go,
hello, sir, my dear. If you could just open your desktop and we can fix this, dear.
He's got
what are you calling me, dear? Dear sir. What?
It's just all the same inflections with the Indian voice.
Words just like, dear. Hello, dear.
Yes, very good, my friend, my friend. You go, this guy in the southern accent.
But I mean, again, all these call centers are going to be replaced by.
Well, hello, my friend, my friend, my friend, my friend. Very good deal, my friend, my friend.
Yeah, very top deal.
That's so funny.
Top deal.
Interesting.
Yeah, but anyways, all call centers are going to be AI in like 2 years.
Yeah, I feel like it.
Everyone in the world.
I mean, it's definitely hard to. It's a little hard to put the toothpaste back in the tube on any of this stuff. Oh, yeah. But I'm just saying that if you were to pick something that's probably messing up workers more, to me it would be that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Like on aggregate,
it seems like Trump's, his whole America First thing should be good on balance compared to if it would have been, if Kamala Harris won, it would have been like, hey, we're going, instead of 85,000 H-1Bs, we're going to go 850,000 and we're not going to make stuff in America and we're not going to have any of this protectionism stuff. So, I mean, there's a balance though. You're like,
and then you get arrested for not wearing a turban.
Right. And then, the worst part is you also get arrested if you do wear a turban. So it'll just be like, can't win. Are you appropriating your culture? I thought this was
I'll tell you what I do fuck with though is second generation Toronto Indian dudes, man.
Yeah.
Top dudes.
They're all
real solid.
It's
bros.
funny because people are like, oh, they don't like assimilate. Like that's what everybody says. It's like, oh, they don't assimilate. They're like, those guys are like the most Canadian.
Yeah, their
guys.
kids are fucking Toronto dudes.
Like,
man.
oh yeah, they're like, they're all wearing hockey jerseys and they're as
they like basketball better than hockey.
Yeah, but a lot of them are like into that.
Some of the tech bro guys.
Canada's not even good at hockey anymore. We lost to fucking Latvia.
Yeah, I know.
It's like literally we're not even a good country for hockey anymore. I haven't won a Stanley Cup since '93. It's like literally zero identity anymore. Oh, you're polite?
True.
Is that what it is? You're polite? That's what your fucking whole national identity is?
Yeah, the crappy national identity. They're not even polite.
I mean, it's like literally, okay, well, it's like, I don't know, all throughout history, I'm sure polite countries did great. It's like, yeah, you're literally fucking taken over. You fucking welcoming your invaders, being like, "Hey, come on in,
hey pal, you want a cup of tea?
Yeah, I got. Let's go down in fucking Timmy's."
I told you I was in Nova Scotia, and then when we were like partying, and then we slept on a van outside of this guy's house, and we were like all rocking out, and then the person came out. She goes, "I'm not happy with you guys. You were very loud last night, and you shouldn't be here, but." Brought you a cup of tea. And
I mean, it's not a terrible way to live, but it's also not the greatest national identity.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. You want like a little more cutthroat.
Well, also the other thing is too, like when you look at individual immigrants, I do think I have my favorites. Like if you look at, anyone can look at cultures and you go, I prefer this one to this one. And then like these guys, these are the bros. Like these girls are hot. These girls are a little fucking annoying. You should look at Iranian. You're like, they're hot, but they're fucking all think they're princesses. So they're a little, they get those Persian. Like we all have our, and most of them are true, right? Every single one is true. Every single stereotype ever is true. But the actual truth is when you change like a demographics or anything of any place too quickly, People do not like change very much.
No.
Remember when we changed the intro for this podcast?
Still hear about it.
And we've been hearing about that for 3 years.
There's a comment on this episode that says bring back the original intro.
3 years.
Yeah, I know.
So if you go to someone's neighborhood and you go, hey, in 10 years span, you go, it's a completely different makeup, completely different thing. You go, people are not going to like it.
No, for sure.
No matter how you slice it.
Hey, you know what? There is some element when we think about like our friends, like the second generation, where like when you were like in elementary school, if you were like the new kid who was from, whose parents were from some weird country, you kind of got bullied into like assimilating because like you were like the different weird kid who had like the weird food. And then you'd be like, I don't want that.
No, you wouldn't want to. You would tell your parents, I'm not taking a fucking bowl of curry to school,
exactly.
dude.
Like I need like a bologna sandwich. This is making my
Stop,
life hell.
yes.
But like, I wonder if now you bring the curry and everybody's like, oh, that's like normal.
Well, I think it depends how many, because the more if you have a place, like if right now, if we came here, right?
Yeah.
Even a little bit, like our friends are a little bit more Toronto guys. I think if you bring in so many of something, if you bring them in little by little, they all just kind of become part of the thing. If you bring them in all at once, they just only hang out with themselves. They go, here's the bars we go to, here's this we go to, we only date kind of in our circle, and then it becomes like just segregated almost.
It's all like fragmented, but then there is not that like forced assimilation by bullying almost like in school where you're like, you're kind of allowed to like be your own thing. And then like, because that maybe did keep like the whatever Canadian cultural identity was that you kind of were forced into it via bullying. Like in elementary school where you're like, it was mostly one thing. And then the odd few kids had to like merge with that.
I went in my school, there was a lot of different things, you definitely joke around. You're the guy that you're fucking, just like anyone's mom. Like if your mom shows up, doing some wacky shit, you're just like, fucking stop embarrassing me, Your Indian mom shows up trying to give you a smooch on the lips first day. You're like, we can't be mama's boys like that the way
sure.
you're.
And then now maybe it's like,
what I mean?
I wonder what it's like now.
Indian dad comes, gives you a dressing down in the yard in front of everyone because you didn't do your schoolwork. Right. You're like, I'm gonna be hearing it.
I'm dead.
Yeah, like you're like,
I gotta fucking transfer schools or something.
Vivek marches in there, fucking giving his kid's teacher, this isn't it. You give him an A-. Look at this. He's wrong. You're gonna be definitely hearing about that.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about that.
Yeah, I guess we will see. I guess, but
I don't know.
I think that my overall point is there's probably way bigger.
If Trump
issues.
gets Canada, do they put him on Mount Rushmore? Do they add an extra head to Mount Rushmore?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a pretty crazy
changes
move.
to Mount Rushmore.
Like the fact that he literally did not mention once on any of the campaign anything about taking over any country, and now he's literally like, I want Greenland, Panama Canal, and Canada. Like full just
buddy, I told you I was talking to my buddy, the university professor, smart dude that we always chat about this shit. He was sort of saying he's torn by it because he was like he feels like it's just kind of like cucked as a Canadian to sort of like want that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because tons of Canadians want that right
No,
now.
but he was saying he sees it as sort of like cucked to be like not more vocal about how fuck this,
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, again, it's like I guess you have to weigh it on like, is this better or is it worse? Like, what's the major downside? I can't imagine.
I honestly think,
I can't imagine Puerto Rico or Guam or the Virgin Islands are worse off being.
They don't have 15 million French people in those places.
That's true.
I'm telling you, they don't understand.
I'm telling you,
imagine day one, they're like, oh, good, all America, Canada's part of America, and they show up like, which way is the bathroom?
That's an easy solution, though. You literally just go, hey, Quebec is a territory like Puerto Rico is.
Beat it.
You keep your culture. You're just a territory now, just exactly like Puerto Rico is. If you want to become Americans, you can become Americans, but obviously
you have to still do the thing.
French, it's gay. That's over. But like you can.
No, they'd all try to move to New Orleans.
That's fine.
Oh!
So move to New Orleans. I mean, so do it. But you're in America now, and like we're not doing anything. We're not putting French on the signs. Like, well, I guess in New Orleans.
Once they start complaining, though, you don't know what it's like, man.
Dude, what happens when Puerto Ricans complain? Nothing. It's just like you go, hey.
There's not as many. You don't know how many French people there are.
There's like 10 million.
It's a lot.
8 million or something.
Exactly. And
yeah, I'm sure it's. I don't know how many Puerto Ricans there are. It seems like in New York City alone, 50 million. But
maybe there's a lot.
Proud people, by the way. I've never met them.
They are very proud.
There's no people I've ever come across that are more proud of their heritage than Puerto Ricans.
They do seem very proud. Dude, they love their flags.
They wear them like on every article of clothing. Like it's just like a normal thing to be like, you got jeans that are a Puerto Rican flag, a shirt that's
dual
a Puerto
loyalty,
Rican flag,
you might say.
a hat that's a Puerto Rican flag, like a do-rag that's a Puerto Rican flag. It's just like it's not even Puerto Rico Day or whatever the fuck.
Guys dressed head to toe in flags.
Oh,
yeah,
I love that shit.
Who likes flags more, Puerto Ricans or gays?
Puerto Ricans.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
They like those rainbow flags,
dude,
though.
They just chill like in the East Village. They have like a little area, just flags. They just hang out all day. Just like they have a Puerto Rican van. That's
what the Indian dudes that like a lot of the ones that like even the guys like Raheel, for example.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys that were like rich, like really they rich kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rich kids that come to school here. It's like those guys grew up being like America's sick. Like, you know, I watch all the American movies and they listen to American bands and that's them. They're cool. Like they think they're sort of like better than, you know, like,
they're like Bollywood stupid.
Do you know in America, a lot of people have like, you'll see a woman being like, you know, oh, I'm into like Paris fashion. Like,
right. Yeah.
They kind of see themselves as like a little better than you because you guys are going to New York. I'm going to Paris fashion week.
Right.
A lot of those the rich Indians see themselves as, you know, better than you because I'm actually following America stuff.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, you're watching that? I actually watched. That's funny. Right. I'm a little more cultured than you. I just watched Fast and Furious 7.
That's rich.
But they listen to, you know, he was into like American metal. Like it's cool to be. I mean, for them, right? So
America exports culture to the whole world.
But that's a very different attitude from someone who was like, I guess I gotta come here, you know?
Right? Yeah.
Fuck that place, but I can go make more money there.
Yeah, I can go make
as
more
opposed
money.
to.
I don't get as many slaves though.
They want their slaves.
Oh man, if you're those upper caste people in India, man, you're just like it's so normal that you have like I have 40 servants.
Yeah, they're a rupee a day.
Dude, literally, like I have my buddy from Canada. Actually, he grew up in India, but he's like a white guy. He's like Dutch, but he grew up in India in like Goa or something. He's just like he keeps a place there all year round
with people that work there
that has like a staff of like 20 people, and he like goes there once a year.
They sit down and fart. It was a rupee cushion.
Clip it.
Yeah, but it's I do think there is a big part of that it was there's a big difference between how you do it and where the people come from and what their goal was and stuff like that.
Yeah, and does it make things better or worse? And again, some people are like, it makes things better, and you're like, well, yeah, only economically. And they go, that's not the only thing people care about.
But sometimes, even on that argument, you go, well, it makes things better economically in the short term, and you go, actually, over the long term, this will make the problem worse.
Right.
Because if you do have a thing where you go, hey, we don't have enough people that are like in these fields, it's like, well, a good way to make that problem worse is you go, okay, we mostly hire people for cheaper otherwise, so less people will go into those fields, and you're like, well, now you really have,
and you don't fix.
In 10 years, you really have no one doing it.
Yeah, for sure.
So a little bit, it can be like a Band-Aid situation. It's like going back with your ex when you really should let her go and move on to the new one. Yeah. But you still have the fucking old roster available, so you're calling them drunk instead of instead of out here looking for new shit.
First world problems.
They're going back with their ex when that's Elon Musk trying to go back with his ex India and take all these Indians for cheap when he was like, you know what, you need to actually get out here and build some foundation.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is, you're probably right. Nothing much will happen, and he's going to get his way.
Oh, he's for sure going to get his way. I mean, the people who are mad about it are just like, well, the election already happened.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, this isn't an issue most Americans even care about.
Well, that may be true, but I wouldn't have brought it up if I felt like it was just like inside Twitter stuff. But I swear to God, I was seeing this conversation happening everywhere.
Yeah,
it's on the news. It's every article. So I don't really think that that's totally accurate. That this isn't like a big fundamental issue that people are arguing about.
No. I mean, it happened. The thing is like, when Trump went on the All In podcast and he's like, we're going to give everybody, this was like 6 months ago when he was trying to court all the tech guys. And he's like, we're going to give if you go to a college for 2 years in America, you get a green card. I'm like, yeah, they did that in Canada. That like worked out very poorly.
Well, it's because they kept starting schools. I'm telling you,
that's what I'm saying. They're going to do it. Dude, this is the biggest country.
They go, you literally, it's just 5 people in your garage and you go, what's this school? You go, I don't know. You get a degree in fucking typing. And then,
whatever. And
then at the end of this year, you get a citizenship.
Card. Yeah. And you go, yeah, that didn't work.
I mean, I would have done that deal if I was like, hey, I can go get a fake degree in America and then I get to stay here.
The place would fill up so fast if they offer that. It would be insane.
Yeah, and
the thing is, they're like, oh, well, we'll monitor to make sure this doesn't happen. But you're like,
well, yeah, will you?
Yeah, good luck with that. It's like a million fucking scams are going to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
And I'll tell you what the other problem is. I even went back to Toronto and I got roti because that's probably the one.
Indian?
I got the Indian roti and I got mild and it was too spicy for me.
That's welcome to your future,
That's
pal.
what I'm just saying, man.
Ryan's future is just everything. I'd like it mild, please.
My future is I can't fucking eat a thing.
Can I just get a grilled cheese with some ketchup? What is this, curry ketchup? What the hell?
I had a pretty funny thing where they ordered they have wacky pizzas at the stand.
Yeah.
And I had one of the wacky pizzas and I was eating it and I was like, and people were, what do you think? And I was like, honestly, I hated this. And it was like, listen, I don't know what to tell you. I'm more of a meat and potatoes guy. And then he goes, this is literally a meat and potatoes pizza. He goes, that's a meat and potatoes. Yeah. It was literally steak and then potato. It's like a piece of steak on a pizza. It's fucking nuts. Yeah, and then full potatoes.
Concept pizza.
They're trying to make it into an art piece.
Yeah, that's fine. I like sometimes.
I guess it wasn't for me.
They whip up some weirdo pizzas there that are good.
More for you.
I would like pepperoni.
So I'm out here
cheese.
eating wacky shit. I'm trying to eat a pizza that just looks like a guy accidentally slipped in the kitchen and everything fell on it. And then I'm eating roti. My face is like beads of sweat.
You got a spicy future ahead of you, pal.
Actually, I have another good ethnic story because my brother told me this, but he went to the movie Gladiator, and for some reason, the theater they went to they have have you ever seen this where they have people that are like actors, I guess, like dressed in the costumes or whatever?
Like who go to watch it or just
work there. No. Guy probably makes $12 an hour and he kind of stands there in the costume or whatever and says hi to people. Well, anyways, my brother said he went and there was an Asian guy dressed in the Gladiator outfit. I don't even know what they do as a promotion. Maybe it's just on opening night or whatever, right? Uh-huh. Yeah, well, whatever, right? So he goes up and he said him and his boys were looking at it and he was like, oh, I don't know. Weird they made him Asian because they thought it was like a statue. He said he went out. They go, this one's small too, eh? I'm sure gladiators were this size. And then they said the guy moved and they go, oh, dude, I'm so sorry. They were standing and he said he was standing
talking to a fucking guy
and trashing him.
Just the tear comes down his eye. Goes, damn, this is fucking. They made these things cry.
They go, this would be a crappy gladiator right here. And then the guy just moved and they're like, fuck.
Well, I guess a lot of the gladiators were like slaves and stuff, so maybe he just would have been the one that got eaten by a lion.
Sure, they send you in there with one pitchfork and they go, have at it, bud.
Yeah, but I guess the actual gladiators could have been a diverse group because they were all slaves.
Sure, right? Exactly, yeah. So, definitely. But that wasn't part of the conversation. It was more the comment was like, he's so small and this and that.
Yeah, and Asian.
And they were just like, this guy doesn't look like a gladiator, like weak bitch. Like, you know what I mean? And then the guy, a single tear comes down.
Yeah, that's great. That's good shit right there.
I'll tell you, if you do want to go to an ethno-state, if people are interested in a white ethno-state, you, for example.
Phish
concert. I've never seen anything. So me and Danny went to the Phish concert on New Year's after shows.
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like this. Danny goes to
a country. It's honestly probably a country like festival is less white.
I was looking around and it's crazy. So the biggest thing you notice is, people have said that black people more dance with the bottom half and white people more dance with the upper half.
Yeah.
The entire building was just exclusively dancing with the upper body.
Yeah.
Like everyone's feet were firmly planted and then the upper body doing weird stuff like that.
Well, on the floor, sometimes there will be people who will like there are some people
There's
who
some
go
glow
crazy,
stick women.
but then it's annoying because then they're like hitting people and bumping into you and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because MSG is pretty.
MSG had what, 20,000 people?
20,000, yeah.
I think that the amount of people that weren't white was probably like 500 tops.
Yeah, are you counting the staff?
I saw 2.
Oh, I mean, literally, I went to 2 shows and I saw maybe 4 total. Yeah, like the staff.
Wild.
Yeah, it's like the whitest place.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It's insane how big they are. And you kind of look at it and you go, I kind of know a song or two, and then I listen to the song and I'm like, I don't really know. I
know, probably.
How are they so famous? I don't get it.
They're just the biggest.
It really feels like to be the most famous, you kind of just have to be like, this culture already exists, and then I move in and I'm like their hero.
Yeah,
like if Insane Clown Posse died. If Insane Clown Posse died, there might be another thing that are like, we're the #1 Juggalo band now.
The way it works with like the jam bands essentially is like it used to be the Dead, and then Dead was like the kind of the only jam band, and they were playing like literally stadiums, like they were like a stadium act. And then like because now the way it works is so after like a Phish concert ends, there's always like shows. Like there'll be like another band is playing like a show that starts at like 2 a.m. that goes to like whatever 5 a.m. or like 1 a.m.
They have another band that plays after Phish?
No, not at MSG. It'll be like nearby. It'll be a different jam band. And so then that's essentially like the hierarchy.
They're training.
They're like training. And so there's this band called like Goose who's like really big now. Like
they're popping.
They probably play like, I remember they played the Radio City Music Hall, like multiple, like 2 shows or like 4 shows or something. And then you eventually just like work your way up and then, but there's no band that's as big as like that does Phish, like 4 nights at MSG over New Year's sold out. Like
it's crazy, dude. And the tickets are $1 trillion.
Yeah. Well, they're actually cheap if you get them in the lottery, but if you buy them like on
how much do I owe you?
They were like $500 a piece. Dude, crazy thing is they were more expensive.
We were behind the people. We couldn't even see their faces.
Yeah, well, dude, the crazy thing is we went on Sunday.
Fellas, subscribe to that. Patreon.com/.
Guy, I fucking had to buy tickets for
2 Bugman versus Bugman. Also, we did a holiday special over there. I'm getting bleeded dry for the bounce. They did a DJ set, which was interesting.
Dude, it was weird. I didn't like it, actually.
Yeah, because I'm like, I thought it was like a hippie jam band festival. Oh, this is the best. Danny goes, he has to go first on the show, and he goes, I got to get out of there to catch their first of 3 90-minute sets.
Yeah.
Danny didn't want to miss a fucking drop.
Hey, man, I like it.
These guys play for 5.5 hours. Danny didn't want to be 3 seconds late.
Yeah, but no, so on New Year's they play 3 sets, and then the third set is always like some weird, like not experimental, but they'll always like sometimes they'll cover an album, like they've like they'll do like a whole Talking Heads album.
This was this.
They literally did a live EDM set.
It was weird.
It was weird. Like, no, everybody was like, whoa, like so many people were like, oh, lots of people were like,
I was like,
cool.
your buddy didn't like it.
My brother was watching it like at his house, and he's just like,
you can stream it too.
Oh yeah, dude. There's like probably more people streaming it than are watching it than there are there.
So so that guy made infinity dollars yet last night.
Oh, dude, those guys make insane money. Like they probably have 50,000 people who pay $30 to stream it every night. Like. Oh, dude, they're like a fucking industry, man. Like it's
holy shit,
it's insane. Yeah. But my brother was like, that was like the worst New Year's set he's ever seen. He hated it.
I didn't love the DJ shit.
I didn't like the DJ thing either. It's just the vibe was so weird of it. Like it was literally like a Diplo concert, but with a band, like a live band doing like Diplo or something.
Yeah,
it was weird.
Hey, more for you.
Yeah.
That was but it was. I don't know. It was kind of fun, I guess.
It's a cool scene. Like, it's a cool experience.
I couldn't believe, like, and you go, these guys have probably like 100,000 followers on Instagram, and you go, it's just this like word of mouth, best kept secret, and these guys are, I guess there's some DJs that are like that too, where you go, this guy,
Drew Carey was there, actually.
Really?
Yeah. I saw photos.
How do you know?
Because I saw some photo after the fact where he was there. And then
Really?
he went.
He's a fish head?
Yeah, he's a big. Well, he saw them for the first time at the Sphere earlier this year, and then I guess
hooked.
he had like a come to Jesus.
Do you think Drew Carey was rolling?
Probably. And then apparently he went and did a DJ. He DJ'd at like something after
Drew
Phish.
Carey did.
Drew Carey, and some of his DJ that he was playing was Phish. he's like full in.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was weird, but he was at the
Does
show.
he still do Prices Right?
I think so, yeah. But he was there, yeah. Drew Carey.
It is funny because it probably started off as a hippie thing where now it's like kind of like a rich people thing and a rich Jew thing.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, dude, if you have one of those like boxes, they're like 10 grand for a box for one show.
Boom, doo, boo, doo, doo, doo.
I mean, I will say,
I swear to God, though, to me, if you told me, because I didn't really know what they looked like, if you showed me Phish playing their songs and then you showed me, you go, hey, these guys work at Hewlett Packard and they have like a band on the side that they play like once every Saturday. I don't know if I could be able to tell you the difference. Like I wouldn't be able to tell you that this was any better than you go, yeah, these guys are actually, they're like dentists and they have this like band where they play at Jim's Tavern once a week. I probably wouldn't be able to pick.
I mean, the thing is like the Jim's Tavern band would be playing covers is I guess the difference.
Well, I don't know any Phish songs, so I would maybe.
That's true.
Well, maybe if Jim's Tavern was playing their originals and the Phish bands were playing the originals, I don't totally know that I could tell you the difference.
Yeah, I mean, they do put on like they put on a good show, that's for sure. But also like with the New Year's thing, because
is that the dentist or
the dentist? Yeah. But and like New Year's in New York, like to go to like just get in a bar sometimes is like $200.
Yeah,
you know, so you're like, I'd rather do that.
That's true. You know what? That's actually a good point.
Like just to get into like any fucking shit bar.
Great point, because I could mind when I say I'm paying $500 a pop, take $200 off.
Yeah,
you would have paid anyway.
You would have just spent $200 to get in some dog shit bar.
All right, I'm good on that.
Yeah.
Marek Health offers cutting-edge diagnostic labs, concierge health coaching, expert clinical oversight. I got my guy at Marek right now. Mm-hmm. We just did another meeting right now. So it's very simple here. You do your blood work. They go through it. You get a very detailed print off, and then they go through it and tell you what that actually means in English and the changes that you could make and the things that you're doing wrong, the things that you're lacking. And sometimes people have not enough vitamin D. Sometimes people have not enough iron. Sometimes there's warning signs, and sometimes you're just trying to get more jacked.
Yeah.
You're eating
trying
bad.
To get better.
Some people don't realize that they're eating something that's actually bad for them. I'll tell you one thing that I had. I believe it was iron, but the solution, believe it or not, is just if you give blood once a year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you know that. Yeah, I don't want to say could be a little off, but essentially one of the things that was a little high for me, and they go, actually just going to give blood actually
just kind of because you get rid of the blood and then generates more. And
so there's a lot of like little things that they tell you about that solves the whole thing. Danny's on a couple things right now. I'm on some supplements, and a lot of times you're out here just doing all sorts of random shit.
And you're just tracking where you're at. Nobody's generally the best version of themselves.
Of course. And then after 6 months, you can try it again. You go, because that's the thing. People might be telling themselves lies, and then you can actually kind of hold yourself accountable. You go, I made zero progress in 6 months. You go, you're right. I'm not doing anything here. Yeah. So I feel like it's very helpful. The people there are cool and they're smart, and these guys are, gym bro jack dudes.
Yeah, super jack.
Best place to do it. So Marek Health, expedited onboarding for those interested in working with a Marek Health medical provider for personalized treatment options ranging from hormone optimization, cognitive enhancement, hair loss prevention, body recomposition. So basically everything you need. These guys maintain rigorous clinical standards. They only hire physicians that reflect a standard of excellence and are hungry to continue education for the years to come. And most places want to focus on treating symptoms instead of actually finding problems and solutions that'll help you be better so you don't even get to those bad places in the first place. The optimization package includes the same elaborate panel that me and Danny both got. With those test results, the Marek Health clinical team optimizes our personal protocol. If you want to just get the same exact panel and medical oversight, click the link in the video description, marekhealth.com/boyscast. Use the code boyscast. You're going to save 10% at checkout. Again, that is marekhealth.com/boyscast with the promo code boyscast. I gotta play my favorite clip right now. The Costco guys. Hold on.
Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks, that's a big boom. Let's go. She had the courage to stand up in a tough time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, Rosa Parks. Are we a boom? Boom.
Imagine
Let's
they're like
go.
the racist. They're like 5 dooms.
Doom.
Set the race back. Dooms. 5 dooms for Martin Luther King and Rosa Parks.
Doom.
Big Justice is like, I hate that bitch.
Hitler, that's a doom. That's so funny. Yeah. Big Justice. Play one more time.
Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks. That's a big boom. Let's go. He had the courage to stand up in a tough time.
Let's go.
What do you think about the civil rights movement? 5 booms.
What are we thinking about the Underground Railroad? That's a boom. Let's fucking go. They help people in their time of need.
What about the Holocaust? 5 dooms.
Martin Luther King? Now that's a boom.
They're only going to get more famous.
They go, what do we think of Muslims? That's a... okay, that's... okay, they're good.
Great. Love Muslims.
Are they a boom or doom? What? I don't want to answer that question.
Like them?
Just like them.
Mostly.
Boom! What do we think of having sex? Sex is a boom. Get fucking the worst.
I stink.
All right, and then I got one more clip too.
Can't look away.
Actually, a couple more quick things. I got a couple more things.
Yeah, all right.
I'm gonna put you this one, and then Johnny, you want to find me that Charlie Kirk thing? Hold on, I'm gonna show you a quick Seagull, Desert Eagle. Ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
I'm gonna put this one on for you first.
Goes like that. And there was a
Oh, this is I should introduce it. This is a Steven Seagal doing a quick interview.
big Kyokushin Kai, how do you say in English, like
Gathering or a convention?
well, yeah, convention.
You didn't know the word convention?
He's too cultured and Asian.
He's doing that thing. Did you see Alec Baldwin's wife or whatever?
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, where she's like, she didn't know the word for onions, and you're like, you were born in Boston. What do you mean you don't know the word for onions?
Seagal didn't know the word.
Or no, not the word for onions. She didn't know the word onions. She's like, she knew onions in Spanish.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, how's that in English?
He
And they're
fancies
like,
himself
onions?
so Japanese that he doesn't know the word for gathering anymore. He goes, it was a big kushukai. What's the word in English again? He's like, you were in Japan for a year.
Like, you live in Russia. What are you talking about?
What's the? I can't remember the English word. He goes gathering. He goes gather. Yeah, gathering.
Right, gathering.
All right, but then this is funny too. I think a lot of people were saying that because a lot of these like conservatives, it's just like kind of cuck shit.
Yeah.
But okay, watch this one. This is Charlie Kirk doing a thing.
But what advice can you give to young dads that are either about to have their first child or just had their first child? What would you, I mean, we've been through all of that, but what would you say to help encourage them?
Well, I would say you need to understand the biblical role of the father. Again, I'm still learning this. I've only been at it, for 2.5
We're
years.
still young.
But when it comes to your child, you are tasked to protect them both physically, spiritually, and emotionally, and really outside the house and obviously in other ways as well. Quality time is everything. You're not above any of the duties or the
I guess
tasks
this comes
or roles.
after.
But you're also, you as a father
Here we
and
go.
as the provider, you need to get your act together so much that your wife never has a financial pressure ever on the family. And if you have not done that, then you got to get your act together. And let me tell the men out there, you do not spend a dime on video games or sports games or things for yourself until your wife does not have to worry about finances. You come last in the family when it comes to finances.
Cut it.
Period.
She's got a shopping addiction.
Option 2, Charlie Kirk. You lie about how much money you have.
Uh-huh.
You buy whatever you want. In your wife's opinion, you're broke.
Right.
She goes, you make $100,000 a year. She thinks you make 60. You live somewhere else. You have a separate bank account. You buy whatever video game you want.
Put
and
her
then
on a strict budget. You do all the shopping for the home.
you put her on a very strict budget. You
Yeah.
have 2 credit cards, one for her that maxes out at $700 so she doesn't get carried away.
Secured credit card, $500 limit. Still
You
working
buy-
on that.
Yeah, this guy's out here being like, your wife, happy wife, happy life. First of all, it's very like, this guy's rich as fuck.
Of course. And he's also just like, your wife should never need money. Like, she should buy whatever she wants. Like, what?
The fuck
No,
are
she
you
should-
talking about?
Do you know what chicks will do with a
I know.
fucking blank check?
Yeah, exactly.
man?
He's giving him, who is blank check? Was that Macaulay
Kid?
Culkin?
No, it wasn't Macaulay. It was
The other guy?
some Macaulay Culkin knockoff.
Knockoff.
Good movie, though.
Knockoff Culkin for sure.
Solid movie.
Yeah, this is his advice to people. He goes, your wife gets whatever she wants. Never tell her no. In fact, even if you want to go even have a beer with the friends, it's like you take that money and you put it towards her coat fund because this is you go, are you out of your bloody mind?
Yeah, I'm like, dude, no. It's like it's a lot of guys in that audience being like ripping up the point.
Yeah, you're at the
badges.
You're sitting in the audience just being like, the fuck are you saying right now?
Like earmuffs on the wife. Don't listen to him.
You do have to do earmuffs at the wife. You have to take her to that festival.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Red Pill Festival.
The Red Pill Festival. I know. You go. You're doing the wife thing at the Red Pill Festival. Fuck this.
Yeah. If I
not based, Charlie Kirk. This is not based at all.
Not very based, Charlie.
Charlie, you don't love the blank check stuff, Charlie.
As he's saying that, his wife's showing you stuff on Amazon that she wants.
She's like, yeah, she's on the higher one. She's on like the Rent the Runway or some one of those like fancy.
Yeah.
Like,
well, I found this, armband in Paris that I need.
Yeah, look.
No, I don't want. You don't understand. I don't want this. I need it.
What are you searching for? Fabergé eggs? No, you don't buy Fabergé eggs.
You put yourself last. You should be walking around in a potato sack.
Yep.
Sandals, and the sandals should be, 2 wrong feet because you got them at a discount.
Yeah, but the problem is when you give the wife the blank check, you can't even do that because then she's like, you need to look better. And now she's spending your money on just making you look better on shit you would have never bought in the first place. Worst advice, Charlie Kirk.
Your wife
make
should
sure
have
your kids aren't
5,000
starving.
pairs of shoes before you even think of buying yourself a video game.
I'm like, I'm fine with you being like, yeah, your kids should have food and shelter and stuff.
Yeah, he's saying like, as a guy, like you should probably try to protect people in your life and do your best. He goes, you should never even think about never having one thing, not from a video game. Maybe you want to, put a pool table in the basement. You don't even want to think of that until your wife is sitting there like Jar Jar Binks, adequately, I don't even know what the word.
The Star Wars fans
satisfied.
It's not Jar Jar Binks. It's actually Jabba the Hutt. Right?
Jabba the Hutt. or Jar Jar Binks wouldn't be great either. You want to tell your wife's just sitting there like Jabba the Hutt, just chock full of Uber Eats, hasn't moved a muscle in 6 months, hasn't cooked in God knows how long.
Fucking 40 avocados just rotting on the countertop that she bought.
And she's sitting there, she's got 9 computer screens up there, online shopping.
She just got the VR goggles, just like the whole AR space, just shopping.
Honey, I was thinking that I might rent the UFC fight and some buddies come over. She goes, but I'm not satisfied yet.
No, you stream that for free off of an illegal website.
I have not been adequately satisfied. I'll tell you what, Charlie Kirk. No, thank you.
You lost me, Charlie.
More for you, pal.
Yeah, I'm Muslim now. Thanks, Charlie. And there's no Muslim Charlie Kirk who's just like, you must give your wife blank check.
Charlie Kirk's wife's on the side looking at him and also, if she wants anything, that should definitely come first before you.
Fucking Joel Osteen's not saying that, and that guy's driving a fucking private jet.
And also, it is just the most arrogant shit to say when you're like rich.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of those like rich conservative influencers, guys that are probably worth like, 5 to 20 million. Some of these guys have like real money, and they tell you this stuff. You're like, listen, like, yes, it's not that hard. Most marital problems go away when you have $20 million.
For sure.
Like, you know what I mean? You go, so it's very easy to be like, it's just like not what most people are dealing with. Like a lot of people's problems are like, how are we budgeting everything?
Yeah.
And it never stops because there's a lot of people.
The lights.
Dude, there's so many people that are like, we make 150 grand a year a piece and we're a 300 grand household. And you're like, yeah, and our mortgage is fucking 1250.
Yeah, and the wife spends the
rest. We have 2 cars. Our kids go to private school. And,
I want to see what
she's still thirsty.
I want to see what Dave Ramsey has to say.
Oh, 100%.
Dave Ramsey would bitch slap Charlie Kirk right there.
Hi, Dave. I'm Charlie Kirk. I have a problem. I just wanted to.
My wife wants an unlimited budget, and I think that's okay. What do you think about that? Good Lord, man.
Good Lord, Charlie Kirk. Yeah, so that's bitch shit, man.
No.
I agree that people
lost me, Kirk.
Yeah, not on board, man. Instead of Captain Kirk, he got demoted to fucking Janitor Kirk. Cleans up the fucking cum of his wife's boyfriend.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a fucking banger right now. 3 ways your body warns you that someone is targeting you with dark magic, according to a spiritualist.
Uh-oh.
Woo!
One of them diarrhea.
Yeah.
Is one of them diarrhea?
So anytime, if you're a woman, anytime you have any of these signs, it's very possible that someone's put a spell on you. Okay. They put a spell on you.
Yeah. Women are putting spells on women all the time.
Hey, it doesn't even
the ice one.
What's the ice one?
Remember Corinne did that where she has the frozen bottle of water.
Stop.
Yeah, remember we talked about this like maybe a couple of months ago, and then Corinne on the election special thing for her stream.
What did she do?
You freeze a bottle of water. This is what some witches do. We discussed this, but you freeze a bottle of water and then you write someone's name on the bottle of water. And it's like an ice spell. Ooh. Also works great if you fall down and need to ice yourself. Ooh.
Yeah, you put it on your ankle. Your wife comes in like my spell.
My spell. Also refreshing on a hot day.
Ooh. But also is hilarious the idea that anytime your chick says she has any of these problems, you go, oh, you probably someone put a spell
Someone
on
put a
you.
spell on you, obviously.
Yeah.
So.
If you suffer from frequent headaches, Ocean is her name. Ocean. Claimed that it may not be from stress or exhaustion. Many headaches are a result of which are the result of dark magic and described as random and unexplainable head pain that occurs through the day. Quite frankly, any general issues with your mind could suggest a witchcraft attack.
What's she selling? Tell me what
Buddy,
Ocean is selling.
This is a good way, like someone that's schizo, that's just like fucking out here being like, my fucking head hurts. You're like, dude, someone's fucking with you right now.
Someone's putting a spell on you.
And you're like, who? You go, I don't know who. And just everyone.
Sign up for my course. I'll help you find out.
Yeah, you're like suspicious of everywhere. You're like just a woman sitting there being like, my head hurts. And you're like, sorry to hear that. And you're like, are you? Yeah, let me see your fucking fridge, pal.
Show me the freezer.
Show me your fridge. Let me empty your pockets.
Yeah.
You're not putting any spells on me?
All right.
Includes the inability to focus is generally from
focus. That's a spell.
Brain fog. Many other things that have been traditionally categorized as mental illness or mental disorders like schizophrenia, borderline personality disorder, bipolar disorder. It's all spells, spells.
Is there a spell to undo the spell?
Well, they don't, but probably, but you have to find out who's doing the spell
But
first.
like that's what I'm saying. Can you just like get rid of it with a generic blanket spell, or if you don't know who's doing the spell on you, then there's no way to fix it?
I think you're fucked.
Oh, that's.
I think the first point is you want to realize, like, you go, no, I'm not schizophrenic, bipolar, depressed, have a headache constantly, always can't regulate my emotions because of anything to do with me.
No, it's nothing to do with me. It's just a spell.
Yeah, you want to help? Find out who's doing this.
Yeah. Well, you can't, because I'm sure anybody who's casting a spell on you, you're like, did you put a spell on me? And they're just like, no. You go, all right.
No.
All right. Well then. So keep looking.
Yeah, so there's nothing you can do, but anytime a girl is having any sort of, you might sometimes even think you're hungover. Spell. Food cravings, number 2. So anything fucking psycho is number 1.
Yeah, anything.
Number 2 is food cravings.
If you're just hungry.
Yeah. Like, are you hungry though?
Yeah. Do you really want that snack?
I'm going to order Uber Eats. You go, the witches are at it again.
Witches and Charlie Kirk are fucking at it again.
Yeah. If you want to order food, it's actually just because someone put a spell on you.
Okay.
Strong food cravings. I guess I've been had a lot of spells on me.
These witches are really at it again. It's insane.
That's fucking good shit, dude.
She only has 3 of them?
She only picked 3. No, the first one covers a lot of things.
She wrote a whole article, and all she could figure out was 3?
Well, the first one's any fucking thing, period, that's wrong with you.
Oh, okay.
2, food cravings. Strong food cravings could also be a sign that you've been targeted for witchcraft. This could also be cravings for alcohol, marijuana, red meat, junk foods, fried foods, sweets, cookies, chips, soda.
Yeah, those seem more likely than spell.
I think that's what happens though. So if you like, this is what happens to your girl being like, I'm just gonna order a tub of lard, and you go, oh shit, and then you have to lock her in a room, and you go, well, I have to quarantine you because you can't from yourself.
A spell has been.
I have to save you from yourself because you've had a spell cast on you. Sorry, I've chained the pantry door. I don't know what
it's those spells.
If we can figure out who's doing these spells on you, then we can, unchain the pantry door. But until then, the combination, it's written on this thing and I just swallowed it. According to Ocean, the reason your cravings lean towards junk food and substances that are bad for you is because dark entities in the spirit world are known as parasitic entities in the feed and feed on the soul and energy of people's nutritional balances.
All right. It's very scientific.
Witchcraft's definitely at play.
And what can we buy to solve this? She's not even selling anything. She's just like some...
Well, she's just,
author.
I think she's telling you, like, I know that you feel like you just need to keep eating and you're like fat and you're also depressed and everything's wrong with you. You go, this has nothing to do with
There's
you.
a mantra that you can say to get rid of this. It's Om Hring Kling Krishnaya Namaha. Say that over and over again and you won't be hungry or have a headache.
You come home, your wife's crying on the floor and you go, Kling, Kling, Krishna Nama.
Namaha. That works. My headache's a little worse. You go, All right. I try. I'm going to.
Hey, I really want to drink tonight. I was thinking we could go to a bar and drink tonight. Kling, Kling, Krishna Nama.
It's like, what are you doing? You go, I just need to.
I'm cleansing you of
Need a
spell.
stiff drink to take the stress off.
No, you don't. Kling, Krishna Nama. Hey, I think you're at the restaurant. She goes, do you guys want to order dessert? She goes, yeah, I think I'll order dessert. Sorry about this. Krishna.
Because I asked you to stop. You go, I asked you to stop.
Would you like some cocktails? Oh, yeah, I'll have a cocktail. Krishna.
We'll just have water. Is water free?
Yeah, I'll actually.
Two
She wants a. I know she's saying she wants a margarita, but she won't in 1 second. That's the third one.
Yeah.
Well, the third one's promiscuity and lust. So if she fucking
A bit of a whore.
yeah, she.
It's witchcraft.
So you're just sitting there. What is she supposed to do, man? She's sitting there, Jabba the Hutt,
Yeah.
bucket of KFC on the stomach. A guy coming in to bang her.
She's on Tinder, even though she's
on
married.
Tinder, drinking.
Yeah, and she's DMing random dudes on Instagram.
That's pretty good. There's a mantra.
Yeah, there's a mantra.
Some recommend repeating this mantra. Some.
Some.
Of course, if you're experiencing unpleasant physical symptoms that are beginning to disrupt your everyday life, you may want to consult the help of a licensed physician.
Sure.
So you also might want.
Yeah, that's not going to be free like this stuff is, though. That mantra is free, but this is going to cost you.
She might want. Yeah, some people are saying you might want to go to a doctor, but
all right. Well, last resort, go to the doctor.
as we go into the new year, I wanted to talk a little bit about wrapping up the year, which I was having this feeling this year probably more than ever any other year. You know, sometimes years feel long and sometimes years feel short. I felt like this one, at first, I was like, it feels like just fucking yesterday that I was like going back for Christmas or whatever, right? And then I started thinking about all the stuff that happened this year, and I was like, oh, maybe it's long. Like, think about it, we went to like all of Europe and Ireland, and then I went to Australia, and even like doing the special and all that sort of stuff, and just the amount of like places I went this year. I toured more this year than ever in my life.
Yeah, it almost seems like on a macro, sometimes it seems like longer.
You know, stand-up comedy in general has a tendency to sometimes make your life feel Groundhog Day-ish.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
You just like kind of do the same thing.
Well, especially when you're in the zone. I'm sure sports is like that a little bit too. If you just wake up, do the same training regimen, do the same thing, then you go to your game, you go home, you eat the same meal. Like, well, I feel like stand-up a lot of times is like that. You wake up, right, do this, and then you do this, and then you go to the podcast, then you go on tour. Like,
some people's lives are like, I mean, at least if you know, some people's lives are literally like, I just work 50 weeks a year, go to the same office, take the same route to the same
why you working on an assembly line?
Or whatever. I mean, people work in an office and they just go to, you know, some people have variations in their job where they're like, you know, you're a cop, you're like, my day, every day is different. And some people are like, my day, every day is
You know, sometimes when I'm around people like that, like if I go back to the hometown and I'm kind of around people like that for like an extended period of time, and you kind of are around people long enough, like even maybe like family members, and around people long enough to see how like normal their routine lives are. Yeah, it kind of gives me like anxiety. Yeah, like in a weird way, because I'm so like all over the place doing so much of stuff. It kind of feels like almost I can't even explain why. It just kind of makes me feel like fucking weird or something.
Weird, yeah. Well, probably don't want that.
Like whenever I'm around, have you ever been like cooked something in your house around like someone else who's really good at cooking, and they're like micromanaging you?
Well, I could,
you know what I mean? And then you like put a thing down, and they're like, "Hey, what do you put that goes there?" And you're kind of like, You know what? Just leave me alone. Like, you know,
yeah.
I
Well,
kind of feel like that sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, my wife's not particularly good at cooking.
I know,
but she
that's why I
does-
wasn't a
But
good
she does
example.
do that.
She, yeah, like
Like,
you're
why do
being.
you do this? I'm like, you don't even know what I'm making.
Do you know how like it just irritates you and gives you like it's
course.
like a little bit of like anxiety when someone's like micromanaging you?
yeah, for sure.
It sometimes feels like that to me when I'm kind of engaging in someone else's like routine life
Well, it's
or
just like
whatever.
you're
it's kind of I'm like, get me out of
It's
here.
like school kind of like trains you for that life of just that.
Yeah, it didn't work
routine.
on me, though,
Yeah, it didn't work on
obviously.
you. But some people just like, you know, they continue it for their whole lives where they just have that like super like school like structure.
That's when my dad
forever.
was talking to Florida people, and he was saying how different. There was kind of like a perspective shift where he's like, "Fuck, it's so much different than people in Canada." Whereas like in Canada, a lot of times people are almost like an abused wife, or no, sorry, an abused husband that just like takes it, but then they complain a lot. Whereas like in America, people just say no.
Yeah.
like you know, people say Florida has become ungovernable.
Sure.
It's kind of.
Yeah. They just go, fuck that.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. But I was saying like governing Florida is kind of like a teacher trying to govern a classroom that was 30 of me.
That's accurate.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You're just like,
Yeah.
good fucking luck.
Yeah, you're like, nice. You can try.
Yeah.
You can try.
Yeah, and it was like I never really was like a big like I never even with like chicks I'm not a big do things I don't want to do then complain about it. I'm more just like weaseling out.
Right. Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I'm just like whenever I think things don't make sense to me, I'm less likely to do it and then complain. I'm more likely to just not even do it.
Yeah, not even. I mean, ideal world.
Right. But that is more. And then they get mad and you go, I don't know. You almost play dumb.
Yeah, you play dumb. You go, I'm actually kind of.
Oh, you didn't do that thing. I go, like whenever a lot of times when someone's like, "Hey, I want you to," here would be a perfect example. A lot of people always want you to turn lights off, right? And I've always kind of had the thing that I'm very loopy, so I forget that sort of stuff, right? And I kind of have a theory that I just accept at the end of the year that I paid an extra $300-400 for because I always leave the
Apparently,
lights
it's
on.
not even. I saw something where they're like actually turning off your lights like doesn't even really.
It's
save
really the
any
big
sort
energy
of-
comes from like heat and having a lot of windows, kind of those.
It's
sort
like
of things,
heat
right?
and AC and like
Yes.
your big appliances.
So let's say $500 tops at the end of the year. Then I'm like,
think
okay,
it's like
to never
$50.
think about this, I pay
Yeah.
that money.
But I honestly think it's like $50.
And I never really argue about it with people. I always just say okay, and then just don't do it.
Yeah.
Like I always go, yeah, okay, and then the next day I don't turn it off again.
I forgot.
And you go, one of us, you'll tire yourself out of telling me
I have a
this.
spell on me or something that I can't turn the lights off. I don't know. It's these spells. I've had a headache and I can't turn the lights off.
So in a weird way, I thought a lot of cool stuff happened this year. In a lot of ways, it felt like it went by pretty fast.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the older you get, the every year is a smaller fraction of your life, so then it just feels.
Yeah, but I'm comparing it
faster.
to even last year. I think.
Yeah,
I think
because like a year,
I moved.
When you're like 10,
lots of stuff happened.
Like a year feels like it's forever.
I know.
But it's also that was 1/10 of your life, whereas now at our age, it's like 2.5% of your life.
That's for sure. True. Yeah. So there's that stuff going as well, where it just generally every year feels that.
Yeah.
But I still do think I'm able to compare this year with like the last few years without having that bias.
Yeah.
So just to go through kind of probably if I was to say my favorite story of the year was probably Jewish Tunnels.
Jewish Tunnels was fucking.
That has to be the top story. That has to be the funnest story of the year,
yeah,
right?
Funnest by far. Yeah.
That was the funnest, probably. Then
Trump
second,
assassination was craziest, I think.
forgot that. It's crazy.
It wasn't fun, but it was crazy.
That would have been one of the craziest stories. I say Jewish Tunnel was my favorite. I would say my second favorite's probably like Prince Harry getting cucked shit.
Yeah. I don't care about Prince Harry. You love Prince Harry.
It's not that I love Prince Harry. It's that I love a story where you were kind of right at the beginning. Where you're just like, yo, this guy's like, everything that kind of we thought all came true. And it was just like, he just gets bitched around so much that it's like hilarious
Diddy
to
stuff
me.
was pretty crazy too.
Diddy stuff's up there.
A lot. Yeah, there's a lot. Man.
My video just went viral again. The P. Diddy songs.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot.
And then Cop Gone Wild.
That wasn't this year.
Well, it's not.
Well, no, technically, I think it was the last 2023.
Well, the final part of it's
the
this
final
year.
part. Of
So
it.
then
She got paid.
it wasn't this year. Yeah, the final part, Cop Gone Wild, which her name was it Megan Hall? Yeah, Megan Hall.
Yeah.
Legend. Megan Hall took the police department to court and basically kind of said,
they groomed her.
They groomed her.
Yeah.
Which, like, I think it's one of those things where you got to say, like, ladies, are you equal or not? Because she was
No.
out here banging the 5 guys and you go, the guy's groomed her. You go, Or she groomed them. What's the difference? You're both cops.
Yeah, you're both. Yeah, you all work together.
They weren't even her superiors mostly.
No, I don't think so. Most of them weren't. And yeah,
I think this was such a high profile thing. They just want to get it off the books.
That's what women do, though. They get exposed for being the fucking police station bicycle, and then and they're like, "Oh no, that's I had nothing to do with that. That wasn't. I shouldn't be held accountable for any of this that happened. No. I'm suing. I mean, also in America,
she's married to at the time.
You just get sued for. You just sue for anything,
and it works because
like they were saying the fucking the chief of police for New Orleans, because after the attack or whatever the other day, and then it's like this old lady, and then apparently she was the chief of police somewhere else, and then they fired her. She just sued them for $1.5 million. One just went to a new police. Wow. Became a new chief of police somewhere else.
That would be one of the best lives available in America. Is in your early 20s, you sue someone and get $3 million.
It's crazy though, because you think like normally in the private sector, like if you're trying to go get a new job and you're like, yeah, they sued the last place they worked at and won.
Yeah,
you're like, we're good
publicly.
They're like, well, we're good on that, and they're like, she's a police or whatever, and they're just like, yeah, they just hire her again.
Yeah, because the person who hired her probably wasn't thinking like that. You don't forget.
Yeah, the person victim.
Right, the person who hired her was probably like another chick. If she walks in and you get the, what's his name from Blue Bloods, he's probably not hiring that.
Hell no.
But if you walk in there and you get new school, progress HR person that's in charge of the hiring, she was like, I appreciate you standing up. We need more of you around here. We actually got some problems around here.
Yeah, hopefully you'll sue us for $3 million.
Yeah, we actually need some more people like you around that are going to, stick their neck out when there's problems with women that have no choice but to bang every guy they work with.
Anyway, it's good for her. $500,000. Probably. I mean, she probably made $40,000 a year working as a police officer.
Yeah,
she literally got a 12-year severance.
My least favorite probably thing is the new trend. If you go on TikTok, it's all just like hot chicks rapping. That's probably my least favorite thing.
I haven't seen that.
Really? Well, my
algorithm's all. I'm retraining mine after I got kicked off. So
yeah. Well, I'm telling you, it's out there because hot girls have figured out that they just like rap now.
Oh, see, I love the super cringy like.
They're all rappers.
My Instagram's more like cringy dudes who sing, but they're like terrible.
What do you mean, like acoustic guitar kind of guys?
Like I found these two brothers from their like, and the funniest thing is because this is a really common thing. So there's like, because I see many of these where there's these like cringy kind of just dudes, really average dudes making the most average music. It's terrible. And then they have one song, but they make like 80 videos of the same
over
song.
And over and over.
But it's the same song. They don't even have a new song. It's just the same song, but a new video over.
I wonder if that works. If we just you take a joke that you did and then just like walk around and put the audio of your joke on the top of it.
I don't know. But it's like it's nonsense. I mean,
just
all the comments
the same thing over and over.
But all the
again.
comments are just like, this sucks.
And it's a lot of guys trying to look cute. You know the type.
Yeah.
Like trying to like.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of
like grown men trying to look adorable.
Yeah, but there's like a lot of people. You're like, you would almost think this is like a joke where they're like, oh, look how bad this is. This is terrible, and they're like, no, they're serious
and doing well.
Well, they're not doing well because
some of them are. I can think of two.
Well, I'm just saying, like nobody ever wants to go see them live or anything. Like, and all the comments are literally like, this is the worst shit I've ever heard, and like just dunking on them. But
there is a lot of like famous people that no one actually wants to go watch.
No, because it's like, I mean, you got to be famous for the right reason.
Yeah, it can't just be all hate watching.
Yeah, it can't be all hate watching. And it's the same songs. You're like, so what? We go see you live and you just play the song over and over again?
I have to hear it 40 times. You play and then hit them with the...
No, that guy I would go see. That guy fucking dropped the bag big time.
Yeah, he did. So I got one for you, Danny. Michelin star restaurant unveils luxury water menu featuring $95 bottle of melted Canadian iceberg. So you go to the place and they bring you a water menu. They have different waters, some luxury waters from the Caribbean iceberg, New Zealand, and they. This has to be like you feel like you're pranking someone. And Charlie Kirk's like, oh
yeah, more $95 bottles of water, please. Anything the wife wants, the wife has. Do you sell it by the barrel?
How about one of each? Heaven forbid she gets New Zealand and
I'd hate for her to be parched. Dude, that's like the most fucking just smelling your own fart shit I've ever heard of is a water sommelier coming out because what water pairs well with this $400 meal? And he goes, let me tell you, of course, the most expensive water we sell. Also, what the hell are we doing? So we could just go fucking get some ice from Canada and sell it for $95 a liter?
Pop, yeah.
Are you kidding?
There's a lot of suckers out there, man. And it's just, they're out for the taking.
Dude, that's crazy.
And that would piss me off.
Oh my God. And you know those people too are like going back and report, how was the meal? And you go, I had this water. You wouldn't believe it.
Can you imagine they didn't tell you that? Where you're just like, I'll have a water. You're like, do you want the iceberg water or the normal water? I'll have the iceberg water. And then you get $100 on your bill. I would fucking lose my mind.
Also, it all just comes out of just like a fucking Poland Springs jug in the back.
Of course.
Yeah.
It's just that... What they bring a bunch of the ice cube and then keep it in a freezer.
Yeah.
They're literally scraping water off of like a just a little basement freezer.
Yeah, ridiculous.
I would lose my fucking mind if I got charged with $100 water bill.
Oh my.
You would never see a scene.
The thing
like
is, you're
that.
at such a expensive restaurant to begin with, so then you're probably just like, all right,
anything the wife wants.
tack it on.
Yeah, and I guarantee you that if you put anyone back-to-back taste testing that, they'd have not a chance they could ever do that.
Nobody's going to tell the difference between all the waters.
So
No way.
This is bad news for 2025. Experts predict women will be having sex with robots more than men next year. There's some cuck right in this
Women
article.
are the OG having sex with robots.
Well, if you're considering a vibrator a robot.
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to see if a guy wrote this. Matthew Phelan. That's fucking not what you'd expect from a dude, man.
No.
Come on, pal.
Well, maybe he's trying to warn us.
Did you see what they said the dildos science studies was called?
No, I did. Yeah.
First conceived in 1975. Teledildonics.
Teledildonics.
Can you imagine you're a friggin' expert in teledildonics? You had to tell people that?
I went to fucking school for 10
Oh,
years.
I'm the chief engineer of teledildonics.
Yeah, I have a 10-year degree in teledildonics.
For the art of mechanical sex toys that operate remotely via the internet. Well, yeah, I guess if you're talking about like when they say robots, do they consider like the dildo machine, the one that goes,
Yeah.
you know that one?
Yeah.
Or Sibians,
The
like are they
Sibian,
considering
is that
them
it?
robots?
I don't know.
I feel like
I don't know if they need to talk to you.
To me, to be
robot.
having sex with a robot, it has to have like the body of a human.
Yeah. Also, what does a woman need a sex robot for? There's lots of dudes available. It's like, I mean, women are
I
basically
know.
just playing life on Grindr. Essentially, I guess
I know,
the only issue
exactly,
is
like-
just like a robot won't murder them or
I
something.
guess they're describing. You might be right that they're when they say sex with robots. What they mean is like a fucking vibrator.
Yeah,
a bunch of these.
No,
like,
they're talking about
single
they have like a
bitches.
doll. Like there's like they have this Delaware-based firm.
So I don't think that's
Realbotics
true.
Introduces a sex bot for women named Henry, operated via an app. It's the $11,000 companion promised jokes. Ooh, jokes.
Oh,
that's
jokes.
what chicks want is a fucking joking sex robot. Sexy noises and superhuman sexual performance. Can give it to you for a full 5 minutes straight. Without getting tired.
I guess it sort of has a progressive slant where it's sort of like women can have sex with robots too.
No way anybody's buying these fucking 15.
Also, the numbers might not be that high. They're like, oh yeah, how many men are having sex with robots? You're like, so far 400.
Yeah.
And you're like, how many women are having sex with robots? You're like 700.
700.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, dudes in Asia are fucking going to town on.
Are they going to town a lot?
Yeah, I think they like the sex robot.
I wonder if anyone we know has one in it, like under his bed. If you know,
The thing is, they're so expensive. It's like it's
$20K.
Yeah, they're not like some tiny purchase here.
dude,
Yeah.
what would you do if you were at a chick's house and then you fucking looked under her bed and she had like a
Full sex robot?
full sex robot
That
with
would be concerning. I think they probably have like a special case in them.
it? Looked like you too.
I'd be like, hey, man, tap in.
And then there was interesting, in my opinion, I feel like this was a little bit the year that was like the final nail in all of the conversations that were happening. It feels like as a society, kind of we're all moving on to whatever's next. You know what I mean?
Like, yeah, like a lot of
this, the conversation. I mean, even right now, University of Iowa announces plan to end social justice major, closed gender, women and sexuality studies department.
I mean-
so they're shutting down gender studies degrees. They're shutting down sexuality studies degrees.
Well, the DEI stuff is like they're starting to get sued for this stuff. And
right,
they're
which
losing.
we all predicted.
Yeah, we all predicted, and they're starting to get sued, and they're losing, and they're like, "Oh, wait, we thought we could just discriminate against people because they were like a certain people." And they're
Yeah.
like, no, you
No.
can't. takes time to fucking run these suits or whatever. But you're like, yeah, now it's going to cost you money. And they're like, oh, well, they're definitely not doing that.
Yeah. So it feels like it is whatever. It does feel like a time when the new vibe of what everyone talks about is happening soon.
Yeah.
And I think right now people are playing around with it. It's always, I have a theory that everything is just fashion going from baggy to tight. I feel like in a lot of ways, a lot of the big celebrities that kind of popped up on the internet or whatever you want to call it in the last 2 years were all very, what I would describe as kind of, I don't know if genuine is the right word.
Authentic.
It was like authenticity was sort of the name of the game.
Yeah.
A lot of people, and then the truth is people get sick of authenticity, right? Like,
yeah.
I would say the last authenticity era was sort of 15 years ago, maybe like 10 years ago, where there's a lot of people making like kind of vulnerable crying videos to camera, and that shit was like really popping.
Yeah.
And then people kind of get sick of that, and they're just like, I want
something highly produced.
Well, yeah, things get so produced that people just get sick of it, and they're just like, everyone has all these curated images and curated Instagrams, and people saying all these opinions that they think you have to have, and then they just crave like a guy just being honest to camera.
Yeah.
And then you kind of get sick of the honest.
A million people start doing that because that works, and then you're like, there's too much of this. And
there's too much of it, and then also you realize it's not that great. You go, oh, it's like refreshing to see someone that's just like being themselves, and then when everyone's being themselves, you're like, okay, but can someone make something?
Sure.
Yeah. Can someone put some effort in?
Yeah, exactly.
Please, can you put some fucking effort in? Johnny's getting the key. I think we're wrapping up here right now. So we can just, because that was the last thing. And then we're going to go over the Patreon. We have lots of stuff talking about patreon.com/the Boyscast. A lot of people joined. We have, I think 110 more for our next competition.
All right.
Yeah.
It's exciting. We're going to shoot some guns.
Yeah, we're going to shoot some guns. So happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year.
I will see you guys on the road. Peace.